Hello, that's us, your wistful and maudlin hosts. This week, looking at the tree of life. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
Oh geez.
Oh, geez.
Oh geez. Oh geez. I'm Canadian now. Or from never mind. I don't know. Trying. I never
Minnesota,
drew
Minnesota,
Minnesota. Thank you.
Minnesota.
Where did they film Fargo?
Yeah.
Um, I had coffee, so
Hmm.
we'll see how this goes. I normally never
Pew,
drink
pew, pew,
coffee.
pew.
Pew pew.
Yeah.
So but the first thing I wrote was, how do I explain death and the beyond to my son?
Well, it's true. And I
I
mean,
was
like,
having
if
some thoughts.
if you think about it, it's going to help you reach a balance because what is the opposite of coffee? It's the movie The Tree of Life.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. We're gonna hit equilibrium.
We are going to hit an
Um,
equilibrium.
so the crack is I chaperoned a field trip
Ooh, la la.
yesterday. I didn't get to ride on the charter bus.
Okay.
As
Rude.
I know. They were like, Harper was like, they had footrests and seatbelts and little pillows for our heads. And I was like,
Excuse me.
I drove my ass all the way down to Balboa Park.
Wow.
Uh, so we did two museums, um, one being the Natural History Museum and the other being the Science Museum,
That's where we went when we went to the
Comic-Con Museum.
yes.
So it's
Hmm.
basically like San Diego's version of Central Park is
Yes.
Balboa Park. So like not everyone has yards here when you're closer into the city proper. So I don't know, we've got like I'm gonna get this number wrong, but there's like at least 20 different museums there. They
Yeah.
have the Air Space Museum that's super cool too. Yeah, I took Andy to the Comic-Con Museum, and like the
Hmm.
time I'd gone before, they had this full like Avengers uh comic book exhibit on the bottom floor. We went and I didn't know that they changed up the exhibitions. So we went and it was Betty Boop. All Betty Boop, of which
A,
Andy is such a big
a
fan,
huge
much
fan.
more than comic books. Anyways, yeah. But it was really fun, and I wish now I wish we had had more time to like walk around, like literally like 2 minutes up the hill,
Yeah.
because it's so beautiful. The architecture is this like Spanish style, like old mission style. They have jar like they have these, and I didn't know this actually. Some random person was like, "Oh, actually," but they have these big like ponds that have koi in them and like little turtles.
Hmm.
And you know me, I was screaming turtles, like everyone was
Hmm.
like running
Hmm.
over. But I didn't know that during World War I, that's where they were teaching soldiers how to row boats.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, that's not very much space, and also like I guess you probably want to practice rowing a boat before you row a boat, but it's not
Yeah.
that hard. Anyways, um, so it was really fun.
Good.
And
That seems nice.
I saw some cool bones.
Nice.
So one of them being did I take you to the safari park?
No, we were going to go, but we didn't in the end.
Okay. So next time anyways, I'll take you. But they had a cassowary.
Hmm. Hmm.
Apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Skull. So cassowary, we have two of them here in the like there's a safari park that's like 30 minutes from where I live. I'm like in East County of San Diego. And these are the world's most dangerous birds.
Yes. Hmm.
So they've got like a giant, like, I don't know, dinosaur looking like mohawk on top of their head, and they kill dogs and then kill humans. And so I got to see one of their skulls, and it's nuts looking.
Oh, that's what they fight
It
with
looks so
then.
prehistoric.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of intense.
So they're Australian birds, and I think they also live in Papua New Guinea. So, anyways, got to see some really cool bones, and some really weird taxidermy. And yeah, it was good. It was fun. Are you
It's
looking at
I
cassowaries?
am living customers now. Are they? I was like, are they another kind of part of Australians' lethal
Yes,
populace?
yes,
But
yes. killing humans with slashing blows of its feet.
Oh,
I
the
guess
artist,
it's
Julia.
three. It's got like three toes, but they're like the size of like Andre the Giant's hand. And each of them has a long dagger-like nail. So
That's what it is, yeah, because they can like basically like, open your intestines essentially.
yeah, like
Yeah,
Velociraptor,
yeah.
basically. But it
So it's
looks like a beautiful. They kind of look like an emu or an
yeah,
ostrich. Like they're like, you know, you're like, oh, you probably want to hug. You
yeah,
look
yeah, yeah.
huggable.
And then all of a sudden
And then you're like, "Bleh," yeah, and
your
then your
guts
guts
are lying on the
explode.
floor. Amazing.
And
I tried it anyway. I
then
maybe
it's like, I'm a vegetarian. I'm not going to eat those.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Um,
what's the
okay.
crack with you?
So I had my board game weekend last weekend. I'm sure I've talked
Do
about
you
this a
guys
little
have a
bit.
name for it?
Yes, but
What
it's
it
okay. It's going to be more confusing. It's called Essen-ish, but the reason why it's
is?
called Essen-ish is because there is a board game festival in Essen,
Okay.
called Essenspiel, and we went there a handful of times, and it's essentially that group because most of them, some of that group still goes to Essen, but the vast majority don't bother anymore. But it's just because it was Essen-ish because it's like that group meeting together to play games essentially.
Gotcha. I like it. That's clever.
Yeah,
I'm a little disappointed, but
yeah,
you've
100%.
got
Hey,
you can workshop it.
I wasn't in the naming committee, nor did I care less, and I was just like, yeah, it's fine, whatever. Um, but it's we hire an Airbnb for like depends like normally 3 or 4 days and just play board games the whole time, and it's really good fun. I really find it useful for my brain to like actually have assigned times for things. So like if
Hmm.
I know that I'm away doing something like this, I know I can just play board games all day and I'll feel guilt-free about that. I know I can like
Yes.
pop a beer, crack a beer at midday. It's all good.
Yes.
I'm not going to be like getting smashed, but like I can, have 6 or 7 beers throughout the day, you know, just have
Keep
a
that
nice
happy buzz
time.
going.
Oh, so
Yeah.
it was so lovely. And yeah, I very much enjoyed it. While I was down there though, because I was aware that there's a certain amount of indulgence that goes on down there. So like, obviously I'm drinking some beers, having a few drinks of whiskey. We're getting pizza, we're getting like fish and chips, things like that. So it's like, an indulgent time. So I did a park run while I was down there. I'm full sicko mode now. Like I was just like saying, that's what I'm looking for when I'm going to a place now. I'm like, where is there a park run I can do? I'm happy about it, but like it's insane. Even a year ago, if you told me I was doing this, I would have been like, no way. Um, but another kind of good step forwards in this, like I have got my first, I've done my best time. I did that a few weeks ago, but like my times are like staying consistently. Well, my last few times have been under 30. My last 3 times have all been under 30 minutes. And I wasn't really pushing that hard this past weekend. I still got under 30. But this was a good kind of milestone in that it was really raining quite heavily when I got there, and I was like, am I just gonna turn around and go home because like this I don't really want to run on this. But I did it and I was happy with that. Actually, it worked out quite nicely because the rain kept me cool as it was going around.
It's like
Um,
that's why love swimming so much because like you sweat, but you don't even know it.
yep, it's
Don't even
true.
know it. Yeah, it just like cools you off. Yeah.
So it was great. And so I was very happy to do it. And I also like it, again, it allowed me to like indulge guilt-free at the weekend as well. So yeah, great fun.
Good. It
Um,
is hard. Like you're not wrong. It's hard to be sometimes I have to literally like get out of the house, be somewhere else to just be like, you
yes,
know,
I have earned
don't
this.
all haven't, yeah, no boxes need to get checked other than like
Yeah.
I need to, yeah, eat badly and drink some, I can't
It's
drink beer, but
it's so
cider.
interesting how like, time changes as you get older in so many different ways. Like, just the big blocks of nebulous time were such a like core part of childhood, and now it's just not like that at all anymore. You just
Yeah. I was driving with my daughter the other day and she was like, "Is it hard? Is it hard to be an adult?"
yes.
And I was like, "That's an excellent question." I was like, "It is and it isn't, you know? It's like you have more responsibility, but you have more freedom."
It's true.
But like,
I think. the better question asked might be like, is it hard to be a human? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yes.
differently hard. Like, it's, but yeah, it's a good question.
I wonder if it's hard to be a cassowary.
No, those guys just are fucking living their lives.
Yeah.
They're like eating shit, gutting motherfuckers that get too close to them, like,
Yeah. And not
oh,
feeling bad. Just
I don't
being like,
know.
yep, okay, now I think I'll walk left.
Are they? I'm just about to find what they. Oh, they're not actually if they're carnivores, that would be very metal.
That's
They're
what I'm
not.
saying. Like they'll spill your
No.
guts, but they're like, whoops,
See ya.
I feel safe.
Yeah, amazing. No, they do eat some. They do eat some
Ah,
animals. Okay, okay, they do eat some animals. Okay.
yes. Okay, so anything else for current?
No,
Or
not at the
I'm
minute.
sorry, the crack?
Do you have any what's current for us?
I do.
Hmm.
So you were talking if anybody's we do little video shorts and so feel free to watch and comment. Um but you were telling people not to watch The Bride.
Yeah.
And this our top fan was like, answer marketing idea to encourage people to see it. Cinema should offer a bundled deal. When you buy a ticket, you get a free sandwich and a bottle of juice. Call it the Bride and Bread and Juice, and you need to say it fast. So, bread and bread and juice.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I'm on board for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that would have definitely helped, I think, in terms of my experience. I think that, adding more food to my cinematic experience definitely is always a
Absolutely.
positive.
It's true. Andy's got a favorite LA cinema that
Yeah.
has like gourmet food, and every time
Hmm.
he comes, he's like, I'm going to, what's the
It's
name of it?
um
What is it? It's not the Alamo. What is it?
it is Alamo Draft House is correct.
Mm,
But like so since I have been last time, it has been bought over by Sony and apparently it
ooh,
has like whenever any corporate, like big corporation buys a smaller corporation and they just are like, right, what cuts can we make? How can we turn this beloved institution into a shit show? And it sounds like that's happened. Because like basically you would
yes.
have people would come up to you and would take your order. Your server would come up to you. They would take your order at the start of the before but before trailer. Like I mean, because there's like they don't really do trailers. They like play fun videos. They do like interviews and things like that. I remember seeing Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it was all like interviews with I've forgotten the name of the actress that's in that film.
Jamie Lee
But
Curtis.
no,
The hot dog hands.
yes, that's no. Well, hold on. So like interviews with
Michelle.
her, Michelle Yeoh, thank you, Michelle
Yo,
Yeoh, like
yep.
and going through her like career, like her movie career, and like showing clips, and it's like this rules, this is awesome. So
Yes.
But they come in like about 15 minutes before the movie starts proper, take your order, and you have the food, you have your drink before the thing has even started. Now it's app-based and it's a disaster apparently.
Everything is that based, is
Ugh.
all. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that happened with, I don't know if you've heard of or eaten voodoo donuts.
Yes, I'm aware
Is
of
like a
even
thing
their
here.
yeah, I'm aware of their them
Yeah.
get going larger. And like I think it is very hard, I think, for any sort of food-based company to like expand and still keep the quality intact. But like
Yeah.
most
It
places
was
fail.
like totally. So I lived in Portland for like, I don't know, 20 something years, and it was born, I think on like off Burnside Street, and they used to put NyQuil in a donut, right? It was like weird stuff and probably like, suspect. And now it's not that anymore. They exist at Universal Studios. Ah.
We're living in hell. Uh,
Mhm.
okay. Do you have any more what's current for us, or should we get into our topic for this week?
We can hop into
Let's do
our
it.
bread and juice. Bread and bread and juice.
That
Or
is
gin and
not
juice.
for
I was like, get Snoop Dogg in there too, and it would be like the bride and bread and
and like
gin and juice.
he'll do that these days. He's advertising what Big Pens at the minute with Martha
He'll do
Stewart. So
anything with
like
Martha Stewart, which
right,
it's like I live for those collabs.
yeah, well,
So
100%.
not
It's
necessarily with Big Pen, but
no. Okay. So
yeah,
the movie this week is the final movie in our Terrence Malick series. I'm not unhappy about that. I'm not like I'm
hmm
neutral about this. is
Hmm.
Tree of Life. I think of the four films of his that I've watched, the toughest watch for me so far. But I think this more fully leans into the idea I had of Malik before going into
Gotcha.
this project, you know.
Gotcha.
It felt indulgent in some ways, and yeah, but I
Little bit of
very
megalopolis-ish.
yeah, I wouldn't. No, that's
No,
not
not
fair.
that far. Okay.
It's that's because it's just a complete shit show. But like, this did feel more focused, and like I think I could see what he was trying to do with it. I just don't know how well it worked for me. But
Mhm.
very singular, even amongst his films that I have awareness of, a very singular sort of movie.
Agreed. We talk a lot about, yeah, I mean, I will say I love this podcast because like I would watch a movie like that and then I would like go to bed and stay up until midnight just like Googling the shit out of it, trying to find out why and where and how and who and what. And so like this allows me to do that without uh being on my cell phone for,
Yeah.
the in the wee hours of the morning. So, um, I liked it. I also through my extensive research that I did while I was watching the movie. Shh, don't tell Andy. Um,
Hmm.
this was his most personal film.
I can see
It's
that.
largely based on his own life
Yes.
experiences.
Hmm.
So in that regard, once I knew that, I watched it probably with a different eye.
Hmm.
Um, like all of his movies, absolutely beautiful. Cinematography was amazing.
Yeah,
Definitely
stunning.
could have done some, city versus nature was
Yeah.
kind of like jarring to watch. Also, we can get into the Sean Penn character, but so basically, I'll just give you the quick and dirty, quick and clean synopsis. The
Hmm.
story. It's a story of a family in Waco, Texas, in 1956. Waco, Texas, man. Jessica Simpson was born there, and it's also the site of the David Koresh
Oh yeah.
uh, cult that had
Hmm.
the big shootout. So Waco's just a lot going on in Waco, Texas,
Hmm.
or nothing, and then they,
Then some really big things. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the eldest son witnesses the loss of innocence, and struggles with his parents' conflicting teachings.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense. And
yep,
also there's dinosaurs and stuff.
yeah. So this is a mix of a Waco, Texas story and also the birth of our universe
Yes,
and the
and
Earth.
planet. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, those things are just like peanut butter and jelly. Go so
Abso
well together. Waco,
absolutely.
Texas, and dinosaurs.
I wrote at one point, and this was when I was feeling particularly cynical about it, that it feels like a high budget Windows screensaver. Like at times,
Yeah.
like it's beautiful to look at, but it's like, okay, yeah, yeah, I get it, I get it. Um, okay, so right, okay. Last, last episode in our Terrence Malick season, I have a a bombshell to drop. All right,
Okay. I
so
can't handle all these bombshells. They're
I
just like
I mean
over and over. You're hitting me with them.
it's just facts, I can't help it. The facts are facts.
Okay.
So bombshell I have for this is this movie was directed by Terrence Malick.
God damn.
Right? And what can't this guy do?
What can't he do?
Compose, as we found out last episode.
Yeah.
Well,
Keep
maybe he
produce
can. Hey, I don't know.
yeah. Keep friendships going with his producers.
Well, that's also a tough one. And some of his actors as well, for that matter. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so this was, as you probably guessed based on what we've said already, this was Malik really starting to lean into experimental filmmaking. As Beth had touched on, this was personal to him. This movie was kind of in the works after Days of Heaven. He started working on a movie that was titled Q, and it was
Yeah.
basically about the history of the cosmos, the formation of Earth, and the beginnings of life. And although that ultimately that movie didn't end up getting made, the components of that were put into like Tree of Life.
Someone else made 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, well, this is also true. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that as a comparison point, and that's a really interesting one because it feels like a more successful version of this idea in a lot of ways. It's
Yeah.
also it also gets sci-fi points from me, which goes a big way.
I know, right? You're like, in space.
It's in space, woohoo!
Yeah. What's that? I keep like that concept. There's a name for it, and I can't remember what it's called. And I'm not
Mhm.
going to Google it because I don't do that. We don't do that here on this podcast. But
No.
it's like when there's an idea and someone has it, and it's like it's born, that idea is born, and that means it's in the ether, and then
Yeah.
someone else can grab that idea out of the ether if you don't do something with it.
I
And I
think,
feel like
yeah.
this like probably happened in that regard.
I
Not
mean,
that
like,
Terrence knows anything about space
no,
yet.
but like I suppose it's like parallel thinking is like I one way word I've heard to describe that, but like I know what you mean. Like it just feels like there's it's like, why we got two movies about like a giant asteroid plummeting towards Earth and the different ways they had to like resolve that in a year
Yeah. No.
in the 90s, you
Yeah,
know.
it's true.
It's these wonderful ideas that just pop up into
Drill.
people's brains.
Yeah. Yeah. No, oil rig drillers, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um, both very realistic movies.
I
Okay.
think, yeah. Okay. Off topic. I love it. So anything else to talk about Terrence as a director during this
You
time
know,
period?
there wasn't a ton like this. It's another one where it like took him a long time, and they talked a little bit about um him filming it. We've already talked about a little bit about him wanting to film at certain hours of the day, so it was also like a long sort of production and things like that,
Oh my
But
God. Like
this,
that drives me crazy. And I
yeah,
didn't even work on any of these films,
no.
but the idea that I get it. I'm not a cinematographer and I get that lighting matters, but
I think there's a balance to be struck, do you know what I mean, in terms of respecting the people that you work with and also, getting, but again, he gets results, he gets
yeah,
stunning images, images the likes of which other directors I don't think even come close to often, and
never.
even directors who I love and have a lot of respect for, so
Same,
uh, you know,
same.
it's a tough one.
Okay, so yeah, this began in the 70s as his like mysterious passion project. So he sent out cinematographers around the world to take pictures of fantastic feats of nature. Um, and just kind of held on to the film stock. And so yeah, so after like Days of Heaven came out in 78, it was so popular that he was offered $1 million for his next project. He had this idea for Q that was and I'm quoting here, a history of the cosmos up to the formation of the earth and the beginnings of life. Although several of the ideas from Q formed the core of Tree of Life, a lot of the ideas were scrapped. They had like a section that was in the Middle East or World War One. There was a Minotaur. So
Ooh,
some of this, I'm like, this maybe could have worked. An underwater Minotaur dreaming about the evolution of the universe.
yes, fuck yeah. I
I
mean, like,
know,
I'm
Andy. I was like, you would have loved it.
lean into that shit a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, so his crew scouted locations and filmed certain nature shots of the film. He did not set a formal schedule or write a script. So, secret project, go do this thing, and then like doesn't do anything with it. So yeah, he wasn't sure if the film should actually like focus on humanity at all, or
Hmm.
just nature, or both. And then did you ever see the movie Baraka?
No, this name's familiar though.
So it's like I remember seeing it in high school. No, college. And it's like 70 minutes. I think maybe we should put this on our list. There's no plot, and it's just like six or seven different civilizations, and
Okay.
you're it's set it's one of the most beautiful cinematic pieces I've ever seen. So it reminded me of that, just like these nature shots and people and humanity and all those things kind of put together. Anyways, so
Obviously, the only
yes.
only Baraka I know is the guy from Mortal Kombat with the swords in
You
his arms.
know. Yeah.
He's
Um,
the Baraka in my heart. Anyway,
I just,
sorry.
yeah, no, the Baraka in my heart. I remember like it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's a good movie, and
Okay. Okay.
uh, yeah, I used to watch it in college when I was high. So, uh, basically, the creative team considered introducing humans only at the end of the film, and then one day Malick just like stopped working on it altogether and moved on to something else. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's his most personal movie by far. He's a Texas native. He had a domineering father, and he lost his brother. Um,
Okay.
so this is kind of sad. So
Uh-huh.
he had two younger brothers, Chris and Larry. Larry was a guitarist. He went to study in Spain with Andre Segovia in the late 1960s. In 1968, he intentionally broke his own hands due to the pressure over his musical studies. Their father,
Wow.
Emil, went to Spain to help Larry, but his son died shortly after, possibly by suicide.
Wow.
So the early death of Malick's younger brother has been explored in this movie, and also if we ever get to this to watching any Malick ever again, The Knight of Cups is also influenced by that.
Okay.
So what a fucking story and image, and like so you can this movie is definitely domineering father played by Brad Pitt, pre-divorce from or
Mm-hmm.
separation. So it was interesting watching him as an abusive parent.
Yeah,
Uh, and
it
so I
is.
guess, all right. So production designer Jack Fisk, who's known for his work with Malick, Lynch, and Paul
Oh,
Thomas
yeah.
Anderson. Um,
Yes, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, so he has worked with Malick on all of his movies after they met at the American Film Institute, and he noticed that he was shocked by how personal the story was when he first read it.
Yep.
So um, I guess um, it makes me sad for Terrence and
Yeah,
for Larry.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It's such like obviously not a one-to-one, but it's such a common story of that era, like of that time as well. That's like, you're taught to be like I really the idea of like you can't be a weak man, you must, like, all that sort of stuff. It was just it felt so, I'm sure that still happens these days, but it felt very much, like that was the way men were taught to think back then too. So yeah,
yeah,
and
and
I'd
the
say
difference go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially like as an artist, as somebody like a bit more sensitive, who's in touch with like the more artistic sensibilities, it must have been a very tough position to be put in.
Yeah. And I'm not sure eh, eh, Terrence Malick is such an elusive human being. Trying to find interviews of him
Yeah.
where he doesn't really, obviously he talks to Paul Thomas Anderson about this and his life, but like I don't know much about his mother, but his mother is this very in this movie is played by Jessica Chastain.
Hmm.
And she's, very like where his father is like, yeah, toughen up, be a man. She's like, lead with love, you know, all of these differing messages of, be a man and, no, like you have to lead with love. So like trying to be raised in that, and then like watching your father treat your mother badly, all of it's got to be very like he's very confused throughout the whole thing. Um, and like to your point earlier, like, is it hard to be human? Like, whether or not you're an adult or a child, like watching this movie, I was like, fuck, it's hard to be a kid,
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
in that
Yeah.
kind of environment. So, yeah. So that's
Um,
where the story came from.
Two things that I was just, as we were talking about it. So I was just looking at Jack Fisk and like, the films and stuff he'd done, and then I realized that another connection to our Terrence Malick month is that he got married to Sissy Spacek, who
That's
was in
right. It
Badlands, which
from
I didn't know that.
Badlands.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
pretty
I
cool.
forgot about that.
The other thing as well, I need to confess, is that since we talked about like Betty Boo at the start of the episode, it reminded me that I've been meaning to like check out. So a guy a few years ago did a web comic called Mr. Boop, where he was like Betty Boop's husband, and and it's just about his life as Betty Boop's husband. And I'm like, okay, so I've searched it. I'm leaving the tab off to one side for now,
Okay,
but it
so it's
was
gonna get.
distracting me briefly. But I'm back. I'm back on target.
I'm like, here is all of his pain and trauma, and you're like, Betty Boop had a husband?
Whoa, what would that be like?
Boop boop doop.
Hey, I'm
Boop.
look, I'm Malik out, okay?
I get it. I get
I'm
you.
beyond my Malik limit.
Man, yeah,
But
yeah.
you know, but you know, I just wanted to confess what was going on. But I do find it very interesting that like, you know, I think the more personal like a director gets with her art, I think the more kind of meaningful it is. And like, I think that although I find this tough to watch, tough to like hold my attention, I think that like it was very powerful, and I think it really grabbed me in really kind of wonderful ways. The
Yeah,
bits that worked for me, anyways, I should say,
yeah, and
the family
it
stuff.
totally, and it's like you're getting different. The narration changes, kind of like it did with the movie that we just watched that I we just talked about that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, Thin Red Line.
Thin Red Line. So, different, so you're getting different narrations, different overview, different opinions about things, which I appreciated. And yeah, just interspersed with also the continuation of, the birth of the world throughout, which
Hmm.
um I
Ah,
guess like why did he do that? And was it
yes,
like did you appreciate that or could those have been two separate movies?
I think they could have been two separate movies. Honestly, I think it felt like I think that the family stuff was so much more interesting, and I think you could have made like a Badlands Days of Heaven length movie that would have been much more focused and you could have still put lots of beautiful cinematography in there. I felt like it feels overstuffed, and it feels like it's a distraction from, I suppose ultimately the family story is about life and death
Yeah.
and things like that. But like, and that therefore ties into that larger picture. But I don't think that the larger picture, in terms of like the birth of the universe, the birth of Earth, and so on, really is additive to that story necessarily for me anyway. Like I feel like if anything, it's a distraction from what the elements of the film that I found compelling.
And I get it, right? I get why he did it because, you know, like he saw there was a little boy that drowned and he saw that happen and he was like a kid and he was like my mom didn't save that kid, right?
Yeah.
And then and then he's worried and realizing that like his mother's gonna die someday. And that's like as a kid, I remember like having that feeling and knowing that and then realizing like oh I'm gonna die like the year on mortality and the mortality of those around you
Yep.
and then like what is God, does God exist, what is where do we come from, and he's showing you that, right?
Yeah.
The like there's the primordial ooze and like there's a scene where um so um there's a okay, so there's a sequence of the dinosaurs where there's like a dinosaur that's like laying down and it's injured, and another dinosaur is like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck you up," and then he like puts his hand on
Hmm.
the other
Hmm.
dinosaur's face, and then he takes it off, and the dinosaur's. It's like you can tell it's like what he's doing is basically showing you like the birth of compassion.
Yes.
Like, did it start with humans or before that,
Hmm.
right? And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
it's like I get what you're trying to do, Terrence. I get it. I just don't know if we
Yes.
needed to see that with dinosaurs.
And I think that, one of the things I have found, watching these films is that I feel like them being more subtle could be interesting because it would more better suit, I think, visually what he's doing again, for me. But like, I think that they feel so thuddingly unsubtle so often that it just is like, and especially that in particular, it just feels like really kind of like, look what's happening now. And like, whereas for me, what works better is when those things kind of seep into me. They're kind of like subtly understood by actions of people, and the changing of characters and how characters grow and so on. It just, yeah, it feels very heavy-handed to me.
He could have just made a movie about dinosaurs finding compassion
Yeah.
and
One
empathy.
dinosaur movie, one family movie, right? I mean, one for him, one
One
for
for him and
them.
one for,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Um,
shall we
so,
do?
but
Sorry,
go ahead.
finish the thought. I was going to say, shall we
Well, no,
do
I
music
have lots of
or?
thoughts. Yes, do
Okay,
music.
let's do music first, then we'll get into a few more thoughts. So, oh God, please let me not butcher this name. The
Oh,
composer of this movie is Alexandre Desplat. Yeah, that sounds right.
ooh,
Right?
I thought you were going to say Hans Zimmer, and you didn't.
No, I didn't. Um, so it's a composer, not a name I'm familiar with, but again, a composer that once I started looking at him, he has composed so many movies I love. He has like a really long career in both French cinema and American cinema, winning many awards, including Oscars for Grand Budapest Hotel and The Shape of the Water.
Oh, ooh,
And he's worked with a ton of directors, including Wes Anderson, Roman Polanski, and Guillermo del Toro. So yeah, another guy who like, once you start looking at his body of work, you're like, wow, so many great
you've been
movies in
around
there.
forever.
Yeah, like he's done so much with Wes Anderson actually, like he's done, and like so much with Guillermo del Toro, like a ton of his films,
Mm-hmm.
including Frankenstein from last year.
Mm,
So yeah,
sorry. Okay, so
he's also got his wife is also one of those artists who only has a single name, like Zendaya, and I'm like, oh,
that's
exciting.
a choice
Her name is
when you're just
Solray.
like,
Solray.
huh, yeah,
Uh,
like Sia.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but like it's different when you're an actor probably, or like maybe a composer to just not to say that Sia, I'm not good. I'm just blabbing. Okay, so there's also this concept of like, what was it? Nature pleasing itself. And what was the other? Like the mother's talking about, was it grace
Yes. Mm-hmm.
or nature?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like grace allows you, to find humility. Grace is like the humanity in you, but nature itself is like only there to please itself. It doesn't care about you. It's
Yeah.
gonna, one tree is gonna grow taller than the other, and it's gonna, dwarf the other tree, and the other tree is gonna die. And as a concept, I was like, does nature just please itself? And then I was thinking back to the Thin Red Line and like war and like, you know, putting war in nature and in one movie together. I just thought that was an interesting concept,
Yeah, it is.
and I don't know the answer to it.
No. But it's an
Terrence,
but
Terrence, call us and tell us what you think.
but like, it's also the idea of like, whether it needs to have an answer, but I think it's an interesting thing to conceptually talk about as well. It really is.
Mhm.
And like, I do think that like what we've seen so far is of his movies really does explore interesting themes. It's so hard for me coming to them now, some of them like many years later, to like understand their place at the time, especially, and like
Yes.
because like certainly some of the themes and some of the things that he's talking about feel like they have been exhaustively explored through different art forms for a long time now, but like I don't know how fresh these ideas were when they first kind of, popped onto the scene.
I mean, granted, he worked on this forever, but this movie
Yeah,
came out in 2011, which wasn't that long ago.
true.
Um, at least in my mind.
That's true. No, you're right. I know. And then it's like, wait a minute, it's 14 years. No,
I
13,
know.
15 years ago. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I know.
Okay.
You're only as old as you feel.
That's so true.
Um, Yeah, okay, so yeah, Jessica Chastain was in this movie,
Hmm.
Sean Penn was in this movie, Brad Pitt was in this movie, and then Sean Penn was barely in this movie. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, but the and then there were, the three children that were playing the three brothers. I thought the children were really good at what they did. Um, I love, Jessica Chastain did a wonderful job. I guess she based her character on like Lauren Bacall.
Ooh.
Um, and you know, with the concept of like, in our society, and I know I do this to you all the time. It's like I talk over you and I know I do that and I'm so sorry. Um,
It's okay.
I know. But like Lauren Bacall's pacing, she doesn't talk quickly. There's lots of pauses. It's not this
Hmm.
idea of like I must talk more and loudest so that like my point, she really paced herself and with Terrence, who usually cuts all of the lines of the script anyway, that seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't, I didn't think this was like Brad Pitt's best role ever. I didn't believe him as a musician playing the organ beautifully. I was like, I don't,
It's a very different role than like I've not seen him do much like this before. I suppose like most of my experience of Brad Pitt has been more kind of crowd pleasery,
this is,
you know.
yeah, I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio right now could have played that role.
Yeah.
Like he would have been, if he was his age now and he played that role in 2011, like he
Yeah.
would have been perfect. But I just, I, I know they needed him attached to this movie in order to get it made.
Yeah.
So, but I, yeah.
Yeah, and I see it. Yeah, that makes sense. I think he was, yeah, fine in the role. It's just as to say, think, could say he is somebody who's acting. I kind of question, I guess. Like, I think that I don't know if he's the best actor in the wide world. I think he's a movie star, unquestionably.
Yeah.
But like, he often isn't somebody who really kind of blows me away with his like acting chops.
No, no, no. Like I miss him in 12 Monkeys, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fight Club, 12 Monkeys, like that was like
Yeah.
his that was the era. Like I didn't even watch F1.
No.
So
It's yeah. I keep thinking maybe I should because I'm sure like it'll be incredible to look up. I have such
everyone I've talked to, they're like, don't bother.
yeah. I have such little interest in the sport, so I'm just like yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Okay.
So what other
So,
bits and
okay.
pieces do you have for us?
I just a bunch.
Mhm.
Do you think how much time do you think that Terrence Malick spends outside every day?
Oh, geez. Okay, I'm going to guess like 5 hours or something.
Something like that. He takes most of his meetings outside. Like
Nice.
when he's thinking things through, he's like, and then we went on a walk through the woods for, yeah, like 5 hours talking things through. Like he thinks best in nature.
I love that.
And then I was like, how much time do I spend outside? Granted, like I'm sitting inside, but I'm looking outside right now. So I feel like
Sure.
that's a beautiful tree. That's another beautiful tree.
I think
Oh, there went Mike, like
sure.
whatever, chasing a crow. But I you can see how much in all of his movies he loves nature and
Yes.
sees the beauty in it. And I don't know, I kind of wish that for everybody. And I'm grateful that he's able to work with the cinematographers in a way to show us what he sees. And it's so pretty. So then you get into this Sean Penn character who's playing the oldest, is playing him, but like older, and he's like an architect and he's got like a job. And he's kind of like at the point in his life where he's coming to terms with the fact that his brother had died, a few decades before.
Hmm.
And, you know, his his parents are old or dead, and like
And
he's in the city. It's
yeah.
just this weird, like you're all of a sudden like you're okay, you're like in space, things like Earth is become, the frogs are crawling out of the ooze and they're growing legs, and then Sean Penn is in a building, like, or like lighting a blue candle, and you're like, what the fuck?
It did feel like the other elements, it did feel quite superfluous, you know, it did feel like an unnecessary add-on, you know. And yeah, I mean, you know, I guess the larger picture of this film is the idea of how long, you know, existence and life is and all those things. So like I can kind of understand that a little bit, but it just didn't really seem additive at all to the story that it was trying to tell, you know.
Not at all. So I found out that according to Emmanuel, I'm according to someone whose name I can't pronounce, his last name, apologize to Emmanuel, the whole movie focused on Sean Penn's character could have been made an entire different movie
Yeah.
from all of the cut footage. So he was basically like he was in top billing, but he was maybe in the movie for 20 minutes out of a
Hmm,
3 hour
hmm.
film. Um, so then Sean opened his mouth in an interview,
No.
which is always my favorite thing. So in 2011, when the movie came out, he gave an interview to the French publication Figaro.
Hmm.
Sorry, I speak Spanish, not French, in which he was very critical of the movie and Terrence Malick's direction. Penn said, I didn't at all find on the screen the emotion of the script, which is the most magnificent one I've ever read. And clear and more conventional narrative would have helped the film without, in my opinion, lessening its beauty and its impact. Frankly, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing there and what I was supposed to add to the context. What's more,
Ooh.
Terry himself never managed to explain that to me clearly.
Ooh. So he felt the same way. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Um, I wonder was the addition of Sean Penn also a thing that kind of got him the budget that he needed? Do you know
yeah,
what I mean?
definitely. I'm sure. I mean, even though it was like, I think that the success of the Thin Red Line, probably his experience working with Malik. Um, but then, yeah, it was confusing and for me, it didn't work. Even including him at all didn't
No, I don't
work.
think
They
completely
could have stayed in
unnecessary.
the 1950s and it would have been fine.
I agreed completely. Yeah, and I think it could still have fulfilled, you know, a lot of the things that he likes to put in his films, you know. But yeah.
Okay, I've got a fact for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Hmm.
Dissatisfied by the look of the modern computer-generated visual effects, director talent. Okay, we were talking about 2001. I forgot I put this in here. Or even, yeah. Anyways, approached the veteran special effects supervisor Douglas Trumbull, who was responsible for the
Oh
visual
yeah.
effects for 2001: A
Hmm.
Space Odyssey, to create the visual effects for the film using bygone optical and practical methods. So I guess that was the first feature film Trumbull has provided the effects for in 29 years.
Oh wow,
So he
really?
did Blade Runner in 82, and then he did this in
Oh,
2011.
incredible. So he like basically took that guy, well, I suppose out of
He took
retirement.
a Terrence Malick break.
Yeah, yeah, he really did. Um, Fascinating. Wow. You know, I really do love that as well because it did feel very distinct. They did look great, you know, it just didn't feel like they belonged in the movie necessarily, you know,
I
they
could
really
have, yeah,
didn't.
I could have watched it all day, just not, that's probably not true, but
I do love, you know, whenever they do things like that because like it feels so distinct. Like it's, you know, made me think a little bit. I think they're very different special effects of like the Darren Aronofsky movie, The Fountain. I like the special
I
effects
don't know
for
if
it.
I've seen that yet.
It's I think when I don't know.
Darren.
That movie was a bit disjointed, I felt as well, but it had some really kind of incredible looking special effects because they did it a very kind of different way, you know. And I felt like, again, despite having mixed feelings on them in Tree of Life, that they really did look visually distinct.
Mhm. Agreed. Um, and also like, I guess I don't know if he's religious or not.
Uh-huh.
But it's interesting that, so much of this is focused on God. Is there an afterlife? Like questions that children ask themselves, you
Yeah.
know? the kid is praying to God, the things that, these are like private moments that we have with ourselves. And like, I'm not the most, I'm spiritual. I'm not necessarily like, I don't go to church. I'm not religious. I'm still, I think, you know, I think it's like natural to debate the existence of God throughout our whole lives with ourselves.
Yeah.
But, and praying is always feels a little weird, but it's just like these private moments and these questions that kids are asking themselves. And like when the little uh kid died and he was like, why didn't my mom save him? It's like those are like thoughts that children have because like you think your parents can bend, you know, time and space and rules of life and all of those
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah.
I just thought I did appreciate that, the children's perspective on how they're seeing life, how they're seeing their parents, um, in both the good and bad lights. I thought that was interesting and very well done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then also, yeah, like he's like God, but then it's like universe being created not in 7 days, or it is, I don't know, hard to tell.
No, I think that's yeah. I think you're bang on. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's an interesting idea he's trying to put across, and I don't think I take any sort of like issue with those particularly. I just don't know that I particularly always get on with how it's delivered, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so got these are these are ones that you're just gonna be like, oh my God.
Okay.
So, Terrence Malick, this is like, I'm obsessed now with like how he wants to like light his films and what time of day and how he's like gonna
Uh-huh,
figure out how
uh-huh.
to. Okay, so in this movie, Terrence Malick wanted the interior spaces to be unlighted.
Wow.
So three houses were used. They built three houses in the main story. Depending on the time of day and the position of the sun was always visibly shining through the windows.
I can see a cinematographer hearing that and going,
Uh-huh.
what are
Okay,
you doing to me?
this is even better. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess how many feet of film were shot and printed?
Oh my God. I don't even know it because I don't even know what an average film
Just
shot.
go like Spaceballs ludicrous.
Okay, let's say 300 million feet of film.
Like 1 million feet of film were
Wow.
shot and
Okay.
printed. An
That's
average
nuts.
of 14,000 feet per day over 72 days of shooting.
Oh my God.
Can you
Wow.
imagine being the editor? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
But per bugger. Did he edit it?
I don't
Well,
know.
no, he had like five different
No,
editors apparently.
probably, probably.
Okay,
Sean Penn had helped actually edit The Thin Red Line too. I found out.
that makes sense.
That was for last week, but he's in this movie too. It won the 2011 Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film
Hmm.
Festival, and it was shipped to theaters under the code name Oak,
Okay.
Tree of Life. So
Okay,
I
nice.
didn't
Well,
even know they shipped them to theaters under code names.
nor did I. I
So
like
now
is
now we
yeah,
know.
fascinating.
Uh-huh.
Okay, love it. So shall we get into our final few wee sections?
Yes.
So like too legit to fit. A tough one. I did like a lot of Brad Pitt's fits though, I think overall. Like I think I kind
Yeah.
of like the style of the time, you know.
Yeah.
There's some quite neat about like his suits and his shirts and things like that. I think that really was working for me. But it's not like it was a tough one to kind of like pick a kind of winner for this week. But anyway. Um, so Andy's Animal Acting Award for excellence in animal acting was The Birds. I think near the start of the movie, I love a murmuration so much, and he has some beautiful like photos of some really fantastic murmurations, and it lasts. Or sorry,
Is that
photos.
like when the swallows are all
Yes.
like flying? Okay, I've seen
Yep.
that happen in real life, and
Oh, I saw
it's
if I. There's a place in
oof.
Belfast where they regularly do it, and it's always so like it's just hypnotizing. I just love
It's
it. So.
swifts, not swallows, right?
Different birds do it. So the birds
Okay.
in so it depends on the type of birds and no and I don't I'll not talk too much about murmurations because I don't know loads about them, but I think they're still not entirely sure why they do it or why they do it in certain places and things like that. It's
Hmm.
but I just love seeing that so much. I think it is just so magical. It really is.
Yeah,
So yeah,
agreed.
the birds. So Beth, in terms of Tree of Life, would you revisit, remember, refuse, or redo?
Mm, okay, so I said revisit, surprisingly, even though I've
Okay.
been bitching this entire episode.
Okay.
I keep seeing people who watch this movie and then watch it again when they're older, and they're like, it didn't mean a lot when I watched it, but now I'm like 20 years older and it means so much more to me because I've lived more, I've experienced more, I understand more of like what he's trying to say. So I will revisit, not necessarily because I want to, but because I think I need to.
Yikes, that.
So that's where I landed.
Love it. I think uh I find this to be a bit of a chore. Again, none of this has been as bad as I thought as my worst kind of fears were about Terrence Malick movies. And like in terms of what I like and things, but I there was definitely a lot to like in this film, but I find it very hard to focus on it. I think even though I feel like I bitch about it a lot, I think I'm gonna at least have to say remember. I don't know that I would tell anybody to watch this again necessarily, but it was. I'm glad I saw it, but like I don't
Okay.
think I would be in a hurry to go back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, I have children and I think, we both were children. So it's like I think from that aspect too, I was trying to like, we all see things with different eyes and I think what was interesting about it for me is that I was able to see myself in pretty much every character
Yeah,
at some point in my life so far.
no, I like that. It's a good way to
And
think
I
about
would
it, I think.
like to know kind of how that will shift and change in the future. And I don't really have many movies where I feel affected not feel affected personally, but I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like that was my
Yeah,
childhood. Or
yeah, it's
like,
true.
oh God, like, yeah, I've seen that happen with like other kids and parents or like, I don't know, just it was in that regard. Yeah, I feel like I have to do my duty,
I hear you.
whether or not I want to,
Yeah,
whatever.
I hear you.
Okay, so I do have a couple questions for you.
Uh-huh.
Um, I said, okay, so last week we watched a film about movie, or sorry, my coffee's wearing off. A film
hmm
about war, and this
hmm
we watched a movie about life. Which was
Uh-huh.
harder for you to watch?
Maybe a bit life.
Me too.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Like you're telling me.
I know.
You are
I
telling me.
know.
It's
Okay, when was the last time a butterfly landed on you?
I can't recall that ever happening to me.
Okay. Next
I'm
time you come, I'm gonna get some cocoons and we'll time it so they hatch when you're here.
okay, perfect. I think that
Okay.
like I'm sure it has happened to me. I just can't recall any specific time. But yeah, definitely. I don't think you do get butterflies here, absolutely, but I just feel like they're not maybe quite as common
Mhm.
as certainly, certain parts of the US and things like that.
I remember
Um
I was a kid and I literally had one land on my hand.
Mm.
I didn't know that they had, what is it, the
Yes, yes,
proboscis,
yes.
and it was like trying to suck my hand, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It wasn't like a beautiful, like lovely experience.
Enchanting
Anyways,
experience.
when was the last time you planted a tree?
Geez, that's been a while. Probably around when I got my house, so I would say 5, 10 years ago.
Okay, how's it looking?
Um, yeah, it's hanging in there.
Okay,
No, actually, I know I did. I planted one a couple of years ago. I don't know
really?
what state that's in. Yeah, I did. I kind of had not thought about that in
Why
a
do
while.
I think we might have been podcasting then because I feel like
Yeah,
I think you were like, oh, and then we planted a tree it was like you were volunteering, you were doing
yeah.
your social,
My social activism, whatever.
no currency.
Currency, currency. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. It
Okay.
was. Okay. So, right, we have reached. No, we hold on. No, my energy levels are running low. Okay, I'm on. I'm on it. Okay, Beth, what's
Okay.
been bringing you joy this week?
Was like, what the fuck, Andy? Ah, birds.
Birds.
So we went to the safari park and like there's this cockatoo that my son loves to check out and he's beautiful. But then there's this like aviary. That's but it's like we got there the right time of day and
Hmm.
like all the birds were like doing their weird things. Like one was like, I'm building a nest. Another one
Yes.
was like, I'm sitting on my eggs. Another one was like, I'm gonna just like hop around and like, I don't know, be annoying to other birds. It was just all the birds were birding. And I have a bird. She has so much personality.
Yes.
And like just seeing birds like birding is my favorite thing. I
It
just
kind
love
of rocks.
birds. Yeah.
Amazing.
So birds
Amazing.
at the safari park, joy.
Hell yeah, I love it.
What about you?
Well, because I've been playing board games, so there is one specifically I've been playing with a group of friends, called Earthborn Rangers, and like it's kind of like set in a future where like there has been a big sort of civilization, but it's all been kind of wiped away, and instead like Earth has been reborn. It's all green and things like that,
Just
and
dinosaurs. Sorry.
there kind of are things like that. So basically, you are these like rangers working in this sort of like big sort of valley, this big sort of Greenland, and you're like going out and you're doing missions for people, like you're meeting animals, and you can choose to like fight the animals, or you can also choose to connect with them and things like that. And it's really lovely. It's just a really kind of like I do love like emergent sort of storylines in games, and it's just a really kind of wonderful version of that. So it's been really nice. We've just started it, and it's like just such a great reminder of why I love board games so much, and like the huge variety within that genre as well. It's really great stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there you go.
I take notes on all the ones you say. And like at some point, we'll get the kids on.
I would say that this one is mechanically incredibly crunchy, so I would just like, but it's a very cool game. It's a very cool game. Okay, so um, we've reached the end of our Terrence Malick season, and we're moving next month into a Patricia Arquette season. Take a breath, everybody.
Yeah,
Yay!
Patricia Arquette. Thank you, Terrence Malick.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you to anyone who was like, please, I really, it was a slog sometimes. It
Yes.
felt a little sluggish, but I'm really glad we did it.
Yes, me too.
I learned some things. I asked some big questions, and now I want to like not
It
think as hard.
No, I hear you. It was an important blind spot for me to
Yeah,
like, to deal with, and I'm so glad that I have, because
good.
like like I think Badlands is genuinely excellent.
Fucking
Um,
A, isn't it?
and yeah, it's very, very good. So yeah, really glad we did this. Um, okay, so
So
we
what
are.
you're saying is I was right.
Let's not go that. Let's not go
Okay.
nuts here. Okay.
All right,
So
all right.
our bridge between Terrence Malick season and Patricia Arquette is going to be Brad Pitt. So next week, we're going to be covering True Romance. So yeah, watch if you want to watch along. Watch that before next week's episode. But yeah, Beth, can you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at movietestofTime.com.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yes. And feel free to send suggestions, uh, do rewatches. We've got,
Yes.
20 or 20 some odd episodes for you guys to peruse.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we love hearing from you, and you guys make this so much fun with all your comments and ideas. So keep them coming.
Absolutely. Love it. I'm gonna go for.
We gotta go. We gotta
We gotta go. Where's the
go.
Beth and our solo energy right now?
Okay.
Okay, right. Thanks for joining us for Terrence Malick Month. And yeah, goodbye,
Yeah.
everybody. And we love you.
We love ya.
See
Bye.
you,
Bye bye.
folks. Bye bye bye.